Yes, today is Coffee and Code, like Python developers. We talking about how contribute make contribution to Black Python developer website using GitHub Codespace. Yeah, if you want make contribution to the website, you can go to the GitHub repo. You can access to the GitHub repository and in the README we have the more documentation on how you can make contribution in different sections. In general, if you want to clone the repository, send the pull requests or issues, we have other sections to make contribution in accessibility or make contributions on the translation content. Today we will using GitHub Codespace. Is the development container is already like you can launch in the web browser. For example, we will make the translations to the Spanish content in the community page. If you go to the website, you can see the website has different language. In this case, in the community, it will translate. If you want to see the content in Spanish, it is work in progress. We'll be using Codespace and then update the content for the community page in Spanish. When you access to the GitHub repo, you can go to the link to open GitHub Codespace for this repository. Here you can set in the resource or the region you want to host your Codespace. In this case, the image is the balance between the size of the image and the download. Then is the middle point. Then because we use some playwright, it takes a little time to download the web browser drivers to playwright. And at least you can set more resource, and sometimes depending on the plan you need pay for the resource you're using in the cloud, but I will be good for core and create the Codespace. This download the pre-built image is around 2 giga of size, close to 3, but the middle point you find the size is 2 giga. But when you deploy the container and install all the tools and packages for development process, the container size is around 5 gigahertz, 5 gigabyte. This is downloading the pre-built image. I can make it more easy. Has the tools from like the development with Jekyll, like Ruby. We're using Python for validation and pre-commit tools and styling format. All that is already set in. You just open your Codespace and then you will ready to make contribution. In this case, we want to update the community page on Spanish. See already, because some image download some station, but it's not up to date. The deployment of the container setting the right extension. In this case, we delete the old extension. In the post create command, we install the playwright browser driver, like a Chrome, Firefox, to test, do that test with playwright. You can leave this tab open and waiting for the install the dependency. This will be one-time execution. When you create the container, you install the playwright dependency. You can see here the extensions. We already, when we deploy the container, we setting the right extensions. You will see here this is not up to date, but when the command finish, this will be setting. You can wait a little bit for setting. In the meantime, because we will working in the translation for Spanish, you can set your branch. For example, translation Spanish, the community. We follow, or I advise you to follow the branch development process, because then it's way more easy to the maintainer or somebody see what change you make. The small change is better to track, but any kind of contribution is welcome. When we set in the branch, then we can focus in the meantime. When this happening, we can focus on what we work. If you go, for example, the community page, this is the original content in English. We're using some extension like Markdown extension for validate the content in Markdown. In this case, we'll go to the article sections to see the translation in different languages. In this case, we're using Spanish. The community page, we will date this content. I already had the translation for this content. Then you will check the typo or the markdown validation. The extension can help you in that. When you make the translation and making sure you're okay with that, then you can send the commit, and in this case we using pre-commit to validate is the markdown file. For example, at the end of the line is some format. All the rule we apply in case for this markdown file will be executed. When we use this extension, for example, like a circle extension, we add to the stage. We can check. You can see here the post create command is finished. Some extension that this image recommended to install, but you can insert the Black Python developer profile for Visual Studio Code is in the Visual Studio Code folder. Here in the manager, you see we're using the default profile. We can import the profile. In this case is the extension I think we can use to make more easy the development process. In this case, the folder, the repository folder in GitHub Codespace is in the workspace folder. In the repository folder on Visual Studio Code folder, this is the profile. You can load in some extension you like, or if you want to keep the UI state, we create the profile. In this case, because I'm making sure the post create command finish, I know playwright is ready to run. But when how I set in the profile, I will able to reset the container like a restart and don't lose any change. We can roll out the container. And you will see here I keep all my chains in the stage, and now I'm making sure when I commit these chains, validate all the chain using precommit. Precommit is already installed in the dev containers, it's setting, and the first time using precommit you will download some dependency tool too, but it's just one time process. When you open this Codespace, you will able to start where you leave the container. In this case, you see here already I set in my theme, my extensions. This is one time you're supposed to leave the container there in Codespace and jump in and keep doing contribution, or at least test a website, for example, for accessibility. We keep going with the contribution. Here you can see the stage is already there, so I keep the chains. For using you can send the commit using the UI, but in this case I wanna use the console for you guys see what happened behind the scenes. When you check for the Git status, you can see all the chain isn't ready to commit. I can then send the commit. Yeah, when you're ready, try to make a short description of your chains and the message using the user interface or Codespace or any tools you feel comfortable to follow the Git workflow. You at least send the message to describe the change you wanna make. When you make the commit, pre-commit, download. This is one-time execution. All the tool to apply the rule to the chains. It's really fast. In this case, we validate these chains, apply with the rules with the size. Okay, right. This is the happiness, no? See everything pass. If you wanna making sure how look before send the pull request, you can follow the task, like then run Jekyll and see all this chain how will look. You can press Ctrl Shift B and run the Jekyll task. You can see this task is already setting in Visual Studio Code automatically because we deployed the Jekyll server. Visual Studio Code detects is some service in that port, like here in the port. You can play with that. You can share this link and make it public and saying to other members or co-workers or developers to see how look the website. When you open the link, we open the link here in the notification, open in browser, you will be able to see this URL redirect to the Jekyll server. And for example, here in the community, you can see by default the English version, but here I change to the Spanish version. You can see all the chains in the dev container how look. You can read and check for typo or how look the HTML. Is I'm okay with that? Then I am ready to send the chains. Here in the console you can stop the server and I am ready to change here. Oh, here for example, here pre-commit, you can see some chain, in this case the end of line. I am okay with that. I can make the commit again. The commit was sending and I can public that branch. In this case I have access to the official repository, but in case you make fork, then you need follow the workflow to send these chains to your branch to your fork, and from your fork send the pull request. For that we use GitHub extension to manage the issue and pull request. You will see this process here. When I send the public branch to the right access to the repository, this extension will help me to manage the pull request. I create the pull request. I can ask for revisions or to check the chains. Other member will help you if you have some issue or problem to run some validation, because when you send the pull request, I will create first. If you follow the GitHub actions, in this case I think you need to sign out with GitHub first. You can see some action is running related with this pull request. You know, the same here, you see here it's running there. For merge the pull request, you need pass at least these two jobs. The playwright, we're running playwright on the chains and pre-commit When that passes, you will be able to merge the pull request. I'm waiting for the day. You refresh. For example, here pre-commit finish. Okay, refreshing. Playwright is checking the website for these chains. You can go deep down here in the GitHub Codespaces and check what steps is running. It's almost finished the job. When all the jobs pass, then I'm more confident, like 100% I can integrate these chains. For that, we keep using the GitHub extension, or here in this case the pull request. You can see here, because I know all the tests pass, I can merge or rebase, because I wanna keep the history clean. Like I just add this chain to the translation and rebase. There will be merge this commit to the official repository when the pull request is merged, and then, for example, if you go through the actions, the pull request apply again the same workflows to making sure through the pull request, if you make some change, other commit or date, the final pull request, making sure all the deployment is okay, like a pre-commit, playwright, all the integration tests is fine. If something go wrong, you can go back and fix it and keep going with the continued integration on the website. In this case, I know the last version of the website is on GitHub page, and here you can see it's IO date. I already have the last content from the community page in Spanish. That's it. This is a little demo for today to how you can make contribution to the Black Python developer website. All the contribution, at least one time of the month, this readme will be updated and show up your contribution. We have discussion on Discord, on GitHub. Any idea, any kind of contribution is welcoming to grow and make better the community. Happy coding.